Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with a video chatting about some touch her and you die romance wrecks. So I love this trope so much, and currently I've been reading a lot of touch her and you die romances and a lot of fantasy romances that have that vibe, and I just really wanted to share them with you because I love these and I've been obsessing over them. Like last night I literally reread one of these, like parts of it, because I was like, I'm just completely obsessed. So the first book I want to talk about that inspired me to make this video is Fantasma by Kaylee Smith, I think is her name. And this is a really fun, unique fantasy romance. The heroine, she is a necromancer, which means she can see things and talk to the dead. And her mother recently passed away, and so she kind of took on a lot of her powers. And she lives in New Orleans, and her sister goes missing, and she tries to find her. And she goes to this devil's manor, and she goes into this world called Fantasma, where Fantasma, it is this I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like a different version of hell, kind of, and it has these different levels. And so to survive Fantasma, it's kind of like these games, trials. She has to survive all of these different levels, and she cannot fall in love or she will she'll die in Fantasma. And so she teams up with a hero who is a ghost, and he kind of helps her along the way. And it's this very high stakes thing because she is trying to find her sister who is in Fantasma. And this one is so good because she is trying to survive these levels, and it's very hard. And the hero is just always looking out for her, but she has this hate to love feeling chemistry with him. And some crazy stuff happens in this one, lots of twists and turns. And this one is just so much fun, and he is very protective over the heroine. They become intertwined, and it is so good. I remember one point in this book, she is in an immortal danger, and he's like, I will protect you, stay behind me. And I'm like, yes, I love him. So this one is a lot of fun if you want a really fast-paced fantasy romance, but with an easy, digestible world and world building. I listened to this one on audio, and the audio was fantastic, and I really enjoyed this. Then I have How to Forget a Duke by Vivian Lorette. This is a historical romance that I recently read, and it is fantastic. So the heroine, she is a part of this matchmaking agency in society, and she has the client of the hero who is a duke, and he's trying to find a wife. And she finds some information out about him that his estate needs money, and that's why he has to marry. And he doesn't want her to find out this information. And so she ends up going to go visit him at his estate and confront him about it. And she ends up falling overboard and washes on shore, not remembering who she is and doesn't remember anything. And he's like, yes, I can keep her at my estate, monitor her memories so none of this gets leaked or out into society. And so he keeps her at his manor for her to get better and remember her memories and herself. And in the process, they fall in love. And it is so good because she is just such a headstrong heroine. And even though she doesn't remember her past, she knows she is just headstrong and does what she wants. And he is trying to help her, get better, but she keeps doing things that deter that. And it is just hilarious. And he quickly becomes obsessed with her and very protective over her because he is falling for her. And it is so good. And I loved how obsessed and protective he became of her. And there is a really fun side character in this one that we have some really cute scenes with. And I just love this one and loved how he was so protective over her. He was like, you're not going to do this. You're going to do this to help get your memories back. And she would push back on that. And it was just hilarious. Their banter was so good. And I really enjoyed this historical. Then I have Secrets and Masks, which is actually the book I was talking about earlier, where I literally reread parts of it again last night. This is a Hermione fanfic, and it is fantastic. So Hermione, she is a part of the Order, and she goes on this mission, and is in this like battle, and she ends up getting kidnapped and taken as a prisoner by Draco, who is a Death Eater, and he is like the right-hand man of Voldemort. And so she gets taken back to his manor, and they decide to turn Hermione into a weapon against the Order. And I don't want to like give away what it is that she does, but she just absolutely hates Draco. She's hated him since they were in school together. And so there is a lot of hate and angsty tension between them, because she does hate him a lot, but she's also insanely attracted to him. And so they have to go in these like battle scenes, and she's kind of used as a weapon against the Order, and she's like so mad and angry at him, but also like falling for him at the same time, and like sees the softer sides to him. And this book is phenomenal. It is so good. Like, there's one point in this book where Draco is like, I will literally burn down the earth and the heavens to protect you and to save you. And I just love this one. It is so good, and they really do push each other to the limit, and I love that in romances. This book is such an addicting romance. It is so, so good. I cannot recommend this book enough. The next one I have is Where We Promise by Ashley Munoz. This is a second chance, like We Almost Were a Thing, where it is also a motorcycle romance. So the hero, he is the president of his motorcycle club. He took over from his best friend, and the heroine is actually pregnant with his best friend's baby. They were in a relationship, but he was a terrible, terrible person, and they broke up, and so now she needs to be protected, and so he has taken her under his protection and is like, I will protect you and your unborn baby. And so they actually seek solace in another motorcycle club, which is actually the one that we follow throughout this whole series, the Stone Riders MC. And so they have this like forced proximity aspect where they are staying in the same cabin, and they've always had feelings for each other, but they've never crossed that line because he kind of pushed her away, and so she went for his best friend. And now they both like don't have any attachments, and their real feelings are starting to show, and it is so good. It is so angsty. They have to stay in the same bed, stay in the same house, and he is so protective over her. He is like, no one will touch you. You are mine. You're my property. Like, I will prove that to everyone. And they actually get a marriage of convenience to protect her. And it is so good. Like, touch her and you die vibes to the max. I love, love, love this romance. Then I have Powerless by Lauren Roberts. This is a fantasy romance, and this is in a fantastical world where people who don't have magical powers will be killed or banished. And so the heroine, she is an ordinary, and she has kind of gotten by her whole life pretending to be like a seer, which is someone that can like read people, and she actually can't really do that. She just like picks up on things of people and like connects it to things she knows. And so she meets the hero where she accidentally like saves him in an alley. He is actually one of the sons of the king. And so she saves him, and she gets put into this trial where, like, to win, you, like, win the trial or you win something. I don't even remember. But she is, like, teamed up with the hero, and they both, like, kind of can't stand each other, but they also have, like, really a lot of angsty tension between each other. And he is so protective over her and like against the other contestants and really trying to look out for her. And it is fantastic. I love this one. It is a YA fantasy, but they just have so much chemistry that I didn't really mind it being YA. And this one is just fantastic. It does leave off on a cliffhanger. There's lots of twists, and she cannot let him know that she is not an extraordinary. So there's like secrets she's keeping from him, and this one is fantastic. I really, really love it. Then I have Recreant by Callie Hart. This is a bully revenge plot romance where the heroine, she is going after the hero because he played a part in the death of her best friend. And so she is a part of this like academy type thing where they go after people for revenge. And so she enlists in the boarding school that the hero's at to get revenge on him and avenge her best friend. And she meets the hero, and he and her just have this like instant attraction, but she is like, I can't fall for you. You like, you know, ruin my life, like hurt my best friend. but there's some like underlying parts of this book that we don't know about until later as a reader. And it's also like a little bit bully and dark academia vibes. And this one has such a big twist in it. And the hero will literally do anything for the heroine, anything. And it is so good. I love how obsessed he was with her and just so protective over her, and it's like nobody else can touch you but me, and I love that vibe in a romance. This one is fantastic. It has a really fun twist in it that I love. So definitely pick this book up if you haven't yet. Then I have Delicate Escape by Catherine Cowles. This is probably my favorite book so far in the Sparrow Falls series by her. I absolutely adore this romance. So the heroine, Tia, she just has a very traumatic past with men, and she had a really abusive ex. And so she is kind of on the down low, staying in Sparrow Falls. And the hero, he is Shep, and he is a part of like the family that we follow throughout the whole series. And Tia, she is just like a very reclusive heroine, keeps to herself, only has like a couple of friends, and really is just trying to survive and be on her own because that's the way she thinks she has to live the rest of her life. And so she kind of like starts being around the hero because she has a leak in her house, and he is like, I can fix that for you. And she's like, no, like I don't want anyone in my house. And he's like, okay. And the hero is just so patient with her, taking his time, letting her get comfortable with him. And there's so much like comfort and hurt in this romance, and I love it so much. And the hero is just so protective. He's so patient. This one is probably one of my favorites by Catherine. It is so good. It's like friends to lovers and a slow burn romance, and it is so good. And I love how patient and respectful Shep is with Tia, and just letting her like feel what is right for her in the moment. And he is so protective over her once he finds out what her ex did to her, and it is just so good. I love this one. One of my top favorites in the series. It is so, so fantastic. Then I have When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. This is a fantasy fae romance where the heroine, she is like a vigilante assassin type person, and she is trying to go after this person that hurt her best friend, and she goes after him, and he actually captures her and puts her in prison. And so that's where she meets the hero, who is kind of having like a secret identity. He's actually the king of like the kingdom, and he sees the heroine and is like, I have to get her out of here. And so he helps her escape from being killed. And so they go on this like kind of wild like road trip type thing, like travel romance back to his kingdom. And it's like very hate to love, slow burn, very fast paced. And there's so many instances where the heroine like almost gets killed and the hero saves her, but also she saves herself. And like one of them is that she gets captured by these like mountain men, and she has to go in this trial against the person that is trying to like take her as his wife, and she like almost dies in the process of trying to fight this person, and the hero steps in and fights for her honor and wins. And I love that part of this book. But there's also like a big twist in this one with kind of stuff with her past and her identity, and it is so, so good. I love this one. It's a slower burn romance, and the fantastical world is a little confusing at times, but it's really solid. It's so good. Like touch her till you die vibes to the max, like very fantasy romance. He is so protective over her and literally like fights people off to protect her, and I love that in a fantasy romance. The last book I have is a Gianna Darling book, of course. I was doing some content pulling and reread a scene from Inked Lies, and I just forgot how obsessed I am with this book. So this is a friends to lovers, kind of like second chance, age gap forbidden motorcycle romance. So the hero and heroine grew up together because she did not have a stable home life, and so she moved in with her brother with the hero's family and lived with their family for years. And she always kind of had this crush on Nova, the hero, but he never saw her in that light because she was significantly younger than him at the time. So now as the years pass, she's just been pining after him for so long, and like he kind of feels it too, but doesn't want to let it on to her because he feels like he doesn't deserve her. And so it's in the present time where she's kind of going undercover with this like rival like cartel type thing, and she's like helping out the motorcycle club, the Fallen Men Club, and he is like furious about it because he is like, you cannot do this. And so the whole story is kind of like wrapped up in the Fallen Men universe, so I don't want to like say too much, but it's like angsty second chance, and they kind of work together on this thing that she's doing for the club, and they end up having to stay in the same house together because he is like, you are moving in with me for your safety. And I just love Nova so much. He is one of my favorite heroes of all time. He is just like so sexy, but also like a golden boy playboy, and he's named like Casanova for his like good looks. And I just love him and Lila so much, and just how he really sees her for who she is as a person. And he is so protective over her because he's grown up with her, you know, his entire life, and her the same thing. And so they have such a strong bond and such a strong connection. And I love this romance so much. All right, well, that is the last book I wanted to talk about in this rec video. I love Touch Her and You Die romances. These are some of my favorites that I wanted to include in this video. And leave me a purple heart emoji for Inked in Lies if you are still here. But I want to thank you so much for watching, and let me know your favorite from this list, or if you have a rec for me, let me know. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.